Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Sri Gurun Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hare Krishna. So this week we'll discuss the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So actually the chapter from chapter number 13 to chapter number 18 deals with Jnana or the knowledge, Jnana Yoga. So as we discussed previously, first 6 chapters deal with Karma Yoga and 12 to 7 to 12 chapters they deal with Bhakti Yoga, and from 13th to 18th they deal with Jnana Yoga. Okay. So here in the last chapter, Krishna in the verse number 13.22, Krishna says, associating with being associated with the modes of nature. Modes of nature are called gunas. Okay, we have called sattva guna, raja guna, and tamo guna, or mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So Krishna says, being associated with the three modes of material nature, the soul takes repeated birth and death, undergoes repeated birth and death in this material world. So then Krishna in this chapter he elaborates more on the modes of nature. So basically the thing is everything in this world, be it be like time, be it be the food, be it be association, uh, anything in this material world can be classified into one among these three modes. Okay, so we take everything any even like a time of the day. So from morning 2 a.m. to until 6 or 7 a.m. it is called mode of goodness, and from that some 7 a.m. until night 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. it is mode of passion, and from 7 p.m. until morning 2 a.m. it is mode of ignorance. So and we also have that kind of mentality in us. Okay, sometimes our mind will be so peaceful and like we'll be able to concentrate and we'll be able to study nicely, or we'll be getting nice thoughts or peace of mind we'll have. Sometimes we'll be driven by passion, we want to achieve something, and we'll be mad at something to achieve something, we work like anything. Or like we undertake many of the sense gratification. So that is mode of passion. And sometimes we'll be so lazy, so dull, and we don't feel like doing anything. That is mode of ignorance. So in this world, there is always this everything is classified into these three modes. So there it's hard to it's hard to find a person who is only on one mode. Okay, because the person's mentality is mixed with three modes. Right from the beginning, right from the creation itself, Krishna says this material world is classified into three. Okay, so in the beginning of creation, when Jiva enters into this material world, it is accustomed or it is subjected to these three modes. So that's why everything will be in modes of passion. Even our bodily composition. If you take, as I said, we have spirit soul, and on the top of spirit soul we have subtle body, and on the top of subtle body we have gross body. Spirit soul is pure soul. It is spiritual in nature, and subtle body is little, not purely spiritual, not purely material. It is subtle in nature. Mm. So that's why this ghosts, no, pishachas, they have this soul and the subtle body. They don't have gross body. Mm. And above the subtle body, we have the gross body. Gross body is made of 5 elements. It is dull. Okay, like when at the time of death, we actually, when the soul leaves the body, it leaves the material body, and it will carry the subtle body into another womb, and he takes birth in another womb. Okay, so you're able to follow, right? So now Krishna is going to say more about these three modes of material nature: the mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. Okay, how these three modes works, actually, if you see the text number 27 of 3.27 of Bhagavad Gita, third chapter, 27th verse, Krishna says, Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha. Ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyata. Means Krishna says, even though everything is carried by the three modes of material nature, mm, but the mudatma, the foolish soul, what it will think is, I am doing. Mm. So basically, Krishna is saying nothing is in your hands, everything is carried out by the modes of material nature. So such important is the modes of material nature. We have to have the knowledge of material modes of material nature, how these three modes work, and how to easily come out of these three modes. If you see some people, they will be helpless. No, they want to control some habit, but they will not be able to do anything about it. Means they are helpless. No, like addicted to drinking or addicted to watching movies or addicted to doing something, some habit, and they are not able to control that habit because of this uncontrolled modes. Okay, some people sleep late in the night and wake up very late in the morning. So that means he is actually predominated by the mode of ignorance. So like that. Now we'll have a nice study of how these three, what Krishna says about these three modes of material nature, and how what solutions, how to use these three modes of material nature, and how to get out of these modes of material nature. Okay, so Krishna starts with saying, first verse he says, parambuya pravakshyami jnananam jnana muttamam yajnatva munaya sarve param siddhimi param siddhim ito gatha. He says, I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of knowledge, knowing which all sages have attained supreme perfection. Why Krishna is saying, for us to perfect in our spiritual life, we should have proper knowledge about these modes of material nature, how they work, and how to mm, uh, how to get how to help ourselves, getting promoted from mode of ignorance to mode of passion and mode of goodness, like that. Okay, Krishna says, by taking shelter of this knowledge, one can attain the same nature as mine. Means if one has to go back to spiritual world, as we discussed previously, right? If one wants to go to the sun planet, he has to have a body like sun, means fiery body, so that he can be able to live there. So if you want to go to Krishna Loka or Golokrundan or Vaikunta, we should have a nature or the body like that of Krishna. So Krishna is saying, if you have good knowledge about these three modes and act accordingly, you can easily attain his nature. Then Krishna says how the jiva contact with Prakriti. Okay. Krishna says in verse number 3, the material nature Prakriti is the womb that I impregnate and making it possible for birth of all jivas. So this material nature is like our mother, and Krishna is our father. So Krishna is saying, uh, Sarvayonishu Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavanti ya Tesham Brahma Mahadyonir Aham Bija Pratapita. He says all the species of life are made possible by birth in this material nature. Okay, and I am the seed giving father. So all the jivas are the children of this material nature, and who is the father? Mother is Prakriti, the material nature, and father is Jiva. Father is Krishna. So it means like this material nature, which consists of three modes, is like a mother, and means like these three modes, like Prakriti, Guna. So this material nature is composed of three modes. If we take birth in this material world, means we automatically are inbuilt with these three modes. Okay, so we don't have to separately endeavor for uh, for anything about these three modes. Okay, so these three modes are in already within us. Okay, and now Krishna goes ahead and describes about these three modes. Okay, Krishna says about the mode of goodness. He says Sattvam rajastama iti gunah prakriti sambhava nibadnanti mahabaho dehe dehi sama dehe dehi namavyayam. Krishna says the goodness, passion, and ignorance. These three gunas are produced by the material nature, O mighty armed one, and they bind the changeless living entity in the material body. So what Krishna is saying is these three modes are the root cause of our repeated birth and death. So, and now he describes about the mode of goodness. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakasham anamayam sukha sangena badnati jnana sangena chanaga. The material mode of goodness is the purest of three modes. Okay, it is illuminating. It is free. It frees one from the sinful and distresses. Those situated in the mode in this mode becomes conditioned by the sense of proprietorship. Sorry, sense of happiness and knowledge. Okay, sorry, it's not proprietorship. So as we discuss this metal nature, like our composition, we have a pure spirit soul, we have a subtle body, and we have a gross body. So pure spiritual is like above the modes. And subtle body has three elements: mind, intelligence, and ego. Manasu, buddhi, and ahankar. So mind, manas, is considered as in mode of goodness. Sorry, buddhi, the intelligence, is considered as mode of passion, and ahankar is in the mode of ignorance. Okay, so among these three modes, the mode of goodness is always illuminating, means it gives us knowledge. It will clearly shows what is perfect and what is not perfect, what is permanent and not is not permanent, what is wise and what is foolish. That person will have the proper discriminatory power, and due to which he will be able to uh, make the right decisions and live happily and get out of this material existence. Mm. So next he discusses about the person in mode of passion. Rajoragatmakam vidhi trishna sanga samudbhavam tannibodanti kaunteya karma sanga dehinam. Krishna says the mode of passion is born of desire, attachment, and attained and longing of the mind for unattained. Means, and he also says, and because of this, embodied living entity is bound in the material fruitive actions. So this mode of passion or rajoguna is the cause of attachment, and attachment for the attained and longing for unattained. Means if we have something, this mode of passion will create so much attachment to what we have, and it will develop a longing for what we don't have. So that's why actually in the corporate world, they say we should have passion, we should be passionate about something. Means corporate world or the materialistic world, it is they are actually they are work bound. Means they have to work hard, they have to work effectively, or so that they can achieve something material. So, but this mode of passion, what it causes is it will create attachment for what we already have in our position, and it will create intense longing for something which we don't have. Mm. That's why it is said, we discussed in previous class, right? In Srimad Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj says, if we want to be happy in this material world, there is only one solution. Mm. Like he says, don't try to be happy in this material world. Means, like what is mean by that? Means don't try to hanker, or don't try to accumulate more and more, or don't try to run after the happiness. If we are self satisfied with what we have, then we can be happily stay in this material world. Means he is saying only the person who is happy in this material world is the most intelligent person. Means like most wise people, like sages, or who don't have any kind of mode of passion, or they don't want, they don't have that hankering to accumulate more and more. So that kind of person. And another kind of who can be happy is foolish person who doesn't know anything about anything. Means a crazy person and the wise person are the only two happy people in this material world. All others are under this mode of passion. Means too much attachment to what they have and too much longing for what they don't have. And next, Krishna says about mode of ignorance. He says, verse number 8, it says, tamastvajnat tamastvajnanam sorry, tamastvajnan ajnajam vidhi mohanam sarvadehinam pramadai lasya nidrabis tannibodanti bharata. He says that mode of ignorance or darkness, born of ignorance, is delusion of embodied living entities. It is the cause of delusion for the embodied living entities. And this mode binds the jivas with madness, laziness, and sleep. So these three are the characteristics of the person, or the anybody who is in the mode of ignorance. So he will be, he will be most of the time he will be mad after something. Or now if you see some people, this mode of passionate people, they work after something, and if they feel like they are not going to get anything profitable or something like that, he will just give it up. But this mode of ignorant people, they don't have this passion, they don't have this drive to work hard. Hmm? they are they only they are like, sometimes they engage themselves in crazy. If you see some drug addicts, they know that they are ruining their health, and it is not good there for good to have drugs or alcohol, but still they are mad, they are literally crazy, they actually ruin their health like that only. Even if they suffer, and still they again do that mistake. Mm. Previously we discussed, right? There are three kinds of people. First kind of people, like if you say something to for first category of people is, if you say something that is going to harm them, just by listening they will abstain from doing that. And second kind of people, even if you say that this is not good for you, still they will do that, and they will suffer, and then they will realize that this is a mistake that they have done, and they will not repeat that. And third kind of people, even though if they are advised not to do something, they will do that thing, they will suffer the results, and again they will do the same thing. Means they are not, this is called craziness. Means they are not, they don't have the ability to learn from their mistake. Uh, So, So they are crazy. And next thing is lazy. Means if we should in spiritual life or material life, a lazy person is the only one who cannot achieve anything in this, like either for in this material world to be happy or to get promoted to the spiritual world. They are they spend their human form of life so much lazily, which is the root cause of degradation from the higher birth to animal life. Okay, and then they spend their most of the time in sleep. So among, sorry, I'm following the book, I'm not describing the titles. Okay, so here in the 13th chapter, okay, Krishna glorifies, and then 5 to 9 Krishna says enjoyship nature, and about it describes our different modes of nature. And the verse number 10 to 13 is it describes how these three modes always try to battle themselves. Means like they want to be dominant, like if we see in the morning times, it will be in the will be in the mode of goodness, and anything that we want to do, like which is requires the mode of goodness, like studying or meditation or anything which requires a lot of concentration. If you if you study or if you learn anything in the early morning hours, it is very good for that for our mind to grasp the subject matter, because this is a mode of goodness which is conducive for the activities which are in mode of goodness, like study and like that. Okay, and uh, mode of passion, like the symptoms of greed and fruity activity, and uncontrollable desires and hankering to develop. Mm. So these passionate persons are never satisfied with the position he has already had. Okay, he always has this hankering. Mm. So this intense hankering or intense attachment for whatever they have is the root cause of this mode, the results of mode of passion. And in the ignorance, in the darkness or inertia, the madness and illusion are manifested. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna explains Uddhava how to change the modes. Okay, so he says by studying different scriptures and by eating in a certain way and drinking choices and your association, your environment, means where you live, and the times of your day you do things. Okay, and the meditate in the different ways, and the mantras you chant and samskaras you perform, and even the birth also. By these, all these are can be classified into three modes. Okay, some of them are in our control and some of them are not in our control, but mostly it is not in our control, because Krishna says, right, prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha, means gunai karmani sarva, means all the activities are carried by the modes of nature only, but what is there in our control is to desire. Mm. So if we get 1 hour time, we have the choice. Either we can we can go online and watch some videos or movies or something like that, or we can read some books, or you can go to temple and associate with spiritual people, or do something more passionate, or try to achieve or try to earn more money. Mm. Yeah. If you see some people, even after retirement, they will spend their time doing some video game, this playing cards or golf, or gambling, that kind of things they indulge. Mm. That is mode of passion. Mm. So anything can be divided into these three modes. Okay. Now Krishna explains in the from the verse number 14 to 18. He describes about effect of conditioning on the modes. Okay, so how these three modes gives different results. Okay, so in these 10 steps, now we can actually classify how different scriptures of study. If there are also different scriptures, right? Scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam is mode of pure goodness, and the scriptures like uh, Mahabharata are mode of passion, and some tantric scriptures are there, or that deals with black magic, black art, like that. No, they are the scriptures in three modes. Okay, and eating also. If we eat something which is uh, purely vegetarian, or something which is offered to Krishna, that is mode of pure goodness. And if we eat something too spicy or something like that, that is also in mode of passion. And mode of ignorance is like eating meat or eating some dead animals. So that is mode of ignorance. Okay, in this way we can classify everything, your association, or your environment. Everything can be classified into the modes of nature. Now Krishna is saying, by associating with the modes of goodness, a person can be promoted into higher planets like Brahmaloka, Janaloka. Means if a person, if he lives this life, no, Krishna says, right, whatever the way, whatever your state of mind at the time of death, that state we achieve without fail. Mm. If our mind is in mode of goodness, then we achieve the mode of like a higher planetary system. So are the qualities which Krishna in described in the 12th chapter, mm, from verse number 13 to 20, like it is listed, right? The qualities that endear to Krishna. Krishna says, no, the qualities like non-envious nature, being friendly to all, kind, freedom from sense of proprietorship and false ego, equal in happiness and distress, and forgiving and tolerant. So there are list of 23 qualities. It's from the shlokas from 12.13 to 12.20 in Bhagavad Gita. So why Krishna is saying, why is this mode of goodness Krishna likes? Because that will elevate us, that will bring closer to Krishna, that will bring us closer to Krishna, or that is, and by that, when we go closer to Krishna, we get purified and we get illuminated and we act in knowledge. So that way we get saved from this repeated birth and death, by which leads to lot of suffering. So if a person in this mode of goodness acts with all these qualities which Krishna describes, and mode of passion, it will lead the birth among those engaged in fruity activities or on the earthly planet. So if a person dies on the mode of passion, he wants to, now if you see some people who are passing away, they say, "Oh, I wish I stay in with my sons and grandsons." And they are so much attached. They don't. So they are so much attached. They don't make any endeavor to remember Krishna, or they don't even try to understand what is the purpose of life. Mm. They just take birth and live like animals, and then they just pass away. So such a kind of person, like they will take a birth where these fruits of actions are carried out, or the earthly planet. And a person in if a person in mode of ignorance passes away, he actually takes birth in lower species, or even the human being can become an animal due to mode of ignorance if a person passes away in mode of ignorance. So in verse number 16 to 18, Krishna says the what are the results of action. Okay, goodness will lead to purity without distress, knowledge, and higher or heavenly planets unto Brahmaloka. And passionate people, they will be they will be miserly, greed, and middle earthly planet. And ignorant people, they will be foolish, madness, and illusion, and they will take birth in lower planetary system. I hope you are able to follow, right? Please let me know if you have any questions or no, if you need more clearance or anything like that, or if you want to go a little slowly. Okay, if you are fine, that's fine. I'll continue. So now we studied about these three modes of nature, right? Now Krishna explains how we can transcend these modes of nature. Okay. So by properly understanding these three modes of nature, we'll come to know that we are not the doers. Okay. Understanding one is not understanding that one is not the doer. Okay. If we understand that we are not the doers, then one transcends all the modes by knowing all the activities takes place under the control of modes. Okay. And by understanding Krishna's position as the transcendental to the modes. So at the 14.21, Arjuna asked three questions. Okay. Like Krishna, when Krishna says like by one has to transcend these modes, and then Arjuna asks, so by what symptoms like a person who is who transcended the modes means who overcome the modes can be known, and what will be his behavior, and what is the process of transcendental modes? What is the process of transcending the modes? Okay. So these three questions Arjuna asked. Okay, the questions are what are the symptoms of the person who transcended the modes, and what is his behavior, and what is the process of transcending the modes? Okay, so then Krishna answered saying that a person who is Gunatita. Gunatita means a person who has overcome the modes, or who is above the modes of nature. He is neutral, mm, and undisturbed by the reactions of modes, knowing that modes alone are active. Okay, and he is equal to happiness and distress. And also Krishna gives some list of qualities. Okay, he is firmly situated in the self. He sees the lump of earth and the stone and the gold are the same. Okay, so that equal vision he will have, and equal towards the dear and not dear ones. Okay, he is steady, equal towards the praise and blame, equal towards honor and dishonor, and treats friends and enemies are same, and he is renounced in all material activities. So all these are the qualities which Krishna described of a person who has transcended the modes. Because as long as we are associated with these modes, there is a good chance that we either take birth in higher planetary system or earthly planetary system, or even get degraded to the lower planetary system. So, but a person who has transcended the modes of nature is actually attained the highest perfection of human form of life. Means that is the our goal of life, to transcend the modes of nature. But it is very difficult to, because we are under the control of modes of nature. Even the modes of nature will control our mind, control our senses. But only thing that we can achieve the upper hand when dealing with the modes is by desiring the sense of, by desiring a proper, like no, it is said that only desiring is there in our hands, and the rest of everything is by the mercy of Krishna and whatever Prakriti facilitates us. So Prakriti means material nature. If we desire, if we desire to engage in something mode of passion, we are for sure we will be affected. And every time we perform some passionate activity or ignorant activity, it will lead to more and more an attachment. Means we get accustomed to doing the same thing again and again. But when we want to transcend the modes of nature, we first have to make struggle to come to. Now, if you are in the mode of ignorance, means like there is one preacher, he went to one home, and that parents complained to him saying that our son is so dull and he's always lazy and he's not very active. And what that preacher say, he didn't say about no any spirituality or any mantra, something like that. He said to that boy to run down from the stairs of apartments and bring something. So that boy, he ran down and he some challenging situation he gave, okay, and he executed that challenging situation, and then he came in front of the preacher, and the preacher saw him. He says he's a completely transformed person. From the first impression he got is he was so lazy and he was fully under the mode of ignorance. And what that preacher did, he just uh, shifted from mode of ignorance to mode of passion. Means running or achieving something is in mode of passion. So we have to intelligently use our abilities to come from mode of ignorance to mode of passion, and mode of passion to mode of goodness. So a person who is always working, who is fully engaging himself in any activity, is in mode of passion. He wants to achieve something in life. But we may say, okay, we also have some goals. We also saying that uh, our goal of Krishna consciousness is going back to uh, spiritual, or even uh, remembering Krishna at the time of death. But that is also some kind of passion, right? One may ask that kind of question. The answer is, as soon as Krishna is involved in anything, like maybe it may be like some passionate work, like uh, working for Krishna, or fundraising, or distributing books. It may seem like that it's a kind of passionate work, but actually, as soon as Krishna's service is involved, it immediately transforms into transcendental nature. Means it is beyond the modes of nature. So even the devotees are advised to sleep from 6 to 7 hours of take rest. It is also a mode of ignorance, right? But there are some devotees who can maintain their body healthily even with the sleep of 3 hours or 4 hours. So that is their level, but we cannot imitate them. So all these three modes are required. We require all these three modes. We require mode of ignorance so that we can get proper rest, and we can our body, so that our body can rejuvenate. And also we require mode of passion for the maintenance of our family, or for to be on job, or to be on livelihood. So mode of passion is required, and mode of goodness is also required to properly utilize our time and energy in a constructive manner, so that we advance spiritually more and more. But it is said that as we go from one mode to another mode, we should strive to come to mode of pure goodness. How can we do that? Just by dovetailing all our activities in Krishna's service. So as soon as whatever passionate thing we are doing, if we think that we are working for the maintenance of Krishna's home or Krishna's temple, then we'll immediately be placed on mode of transcendence. Means you will be immediately under the mode of under beyond above all modes. Okay, so one has to strive to get from mode of passion to mode of ignorance to passion, from mode of passion to goodness, and from mode of goodness, one has to achieve the mode of pure goodness, which is the Shuddha Sattva or devotional service. Now Krishna says, easy way to transcend the modes is performing the pure bhakti. Okay. So in the verse number 26, Krishna says, Mam chayo vivicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samadityetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who is engaged in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances. So Mam chayo avyabhicharena means he should always engage himself in pure devotional service, and unfailing in all circumstances means you should always, what is the symptom of a pure devotion service is, it is unmotivated and uninterrupted, because We should not do bhakti with some motivation. Oh, Krishna will give me that. Krishna will give. I will get this thing. That kind of motivation we should not have. Bhakti should be done with a as like just like a duty. I'm the part and parcel of Krishna, and my only relationship with Krishna is he's I'm to to serve him or to please him with my devotion. Mm. So and when we perform this unmotivated, uninterrupted devotion service, at once sagunan samatityetan, at once the modes of nature, at once he transcends the modes of nature and thus comes into the level of Brahman. Means any person, either he or she, whoever uh, perform the devotion service, then that person will at once transcend the modes of nature and comes to the level of Brahman. Okay, and then Krishna says, if that is not the even the Brahma Jyoti is not our main business. That's why Krishna says in next verse. Okay, Brahmano hi pratishtaham. Krishna says, I am the source of Brahman. Brahmano hi pratishtaham amritattvaya sorry amrutasya vyavas अमृतस्य व्यवस्य च शाश्वतस्य च धर्मस्य सुखस्थैक्यां सुखस्थैक्यान्ति कश्चन कस्य च. Okay, he says, I am the basis or shelter of the impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable and eternal, and is the constitutional position or the platform of ultimate bliss. Okay, so a person just by performing devotional service in any modes, a person may be situated in any modes. Just by performing the devotional service, he will immediately will be he will immediately transcend the modes of nature and he will situate himself in the platform of Brahman. But Krishna is saying, I am the basis of that Brahman. I am the basis and or the shelter of the impersonal Brahman. So so one has to know that even if he is situated on in the Brahman, he has to make endeavor to have a personal relationship with, to realize his relationship with Krishna through the process of devotional service. Means the bhakti yoga is the highest form of yoga, so that the person in any stage, he may be in any condition of life, he will immediately transcend the modes of nature and will attain the highest perfection. So one nice example is Srila Prabhupada came to this United States of America, and then here at the time when he come, he actually didn't had much of following in the beginning days. Okay, so he actually had a bunch of hippies who are interested in associating with him or hearing from him. So he used to cook nice prasad and used to feed them. And then these hippies, they had a lot of bad habits, like drug addiction, illicit sex connections, intoxication, gambling, and everything they used to do. And Prabhupada did not instruct them to give up anything. Mm. He just engaged them in the devotional service. They just said he just started feeding them prasad. So after few months, they realized that, oh, this is very nice. This process is very nice. And they themselves came and asked, should we do anything else other than just eating prasadam or listening to classes? Then Prabhupada said, you just chant Hare Krishna. And for a few months, they just chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and they were eating prasadam and they are associating with pure devotee like Prabhupada. And then after some more months, they came and say, should we do anything more to advance in this process? Then Prabhupada said, okay, you follow these four regulative principles: no meat eating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and no gambling. And you should chant minimum of 16 rounds of Mahamantra every day. So that way, they started their serious, means their like formal initiation happened. And then Prabhupada gave them initiation and they even made them Brahmanas. And then like some of the qualified devotees who are very serious about this spiritual practice, when Prabhupada recognized their real so what do you call bhakti or their spiritual advancement, he even gave them sannyas initiation. Means just imagine a hippie to a sannyasi. This, like, it will take lifetimes if a person has to make such an advancement. But because of the association of pure devotees who knows how to transcend the modes of nature, transcend from being a drug addict to a person, to a normal devotee, and then to reach the advanced stages of devotional service. So when we are at the proximity of Guru, he realizes how we can be engaged properly based on our uh, nature. Some of us are more, so in some of us mode of goodness is more prominent, and some of us more of passion is more prominent, and some of us more of ignorance is more prominent. And the spiritual master or the Guru knows how to take the disciple from one mode to another mode, means how to promote themselves from mode of ignorance to mode of passion and mode of goodness. And from mode of goodness, then he will be established in mode of pure goodness. So that way, when we achieve the mode of pure goodness, and then we'll be easily be able to go back to Krishna or achieve the perfection of the human form of life. So that is all I got for today regarding the modes of nature. I hope it was okay for you. If you have any questions or comments, you can take now. Any questions, Prabhu? Any comments? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
So, no more questions, right?
Prabhuji, I have a question that do we have any name for the three categories you said, like three types of
Your voice is
people?
very low, Prabhu.
Do we
I am
have
not
any
able to hear you.
do we have any names for the three types of people, Prabhuji?
What three types of people?
You said there are three types of people, right?
People in mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Means these are the three types of people. So actually, I can understand you are saying how to classify them in the varnas and ashramas. That's what you're asking, right?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
it that?
exactly, Prabhuji. That is the question.
So actually, something Brahmans, like it should not be like when we say Brahmans means not birth Brahmans, means like somebody says, yeah, if you are a son of Brahman, then you are immediately Brahman. No, that's not a Brahmanical. Okay, Brahman is a person who is predominantly in the mode of goodness or pure goodness. And like the varnashramas also, they are classified according to guna and karma, means the their nature, what is their nature, and what type of work they like to do. For example, if you take a group of students in a class, some people will be quiet, calm, and they like to study, and they excel in their subject, and they they whatever they do, they will be they will put their mind and they'll put their dedication. And some students, they just wanted to enjoy, for in no, they just wanted to do the needful in the class, and then they just wanted to enjoy, or they are mostly inclined in sports, and they are mostly inclined in achieving something, or passionate. Mhm. And some students, they are not very much interested in anything, they just wanted, time for themselves, so they are very lazy. Now, I'm just giving a gross example, okay? So in the same way, if you take a group of people, in that group of people, some of them will be very learned and very spiritual in nature, very truthful, very kind and generous. And some kind of people will be more of passion. No, we have to achieve something, we have to build something, we have to earn more and more and more and lot of money. So that kind of people are there. But some kind of people, and another kind of people are, they just wanted to enjoy. They just want to they take illicit intoxication. They go for gambling. They do all kind of these ignorant things. And means uh, like so. So in that scenario, the actual brahmanas are who are engaged, who give utmost importance for the purity, who study the scriptures, which are in mode of goodness, and who engage in spiritual practice, and who are kind and gentle, who are full of knowledge. Those are actually the brahmanas, and they can advise, they can direct the civilization. And mode of passion comes in kshatriyas and vaishyas. Kshatriyas will have this mode of passion of controllership or possessing or acquisition. So that kind of thing is in mode of passion. Mode of passion is for Vaishya, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. And the mode of ignorance, like it doesn't mean that all the Sudras are in mode of ignorance. Predominantly, it is ignorant. Means they just don't care about how they live. They just pass their life in just uh, earning money, and then they serve somebody, and then they earn money and engage that money in their sense gratification. And they don't know how to properly utilize in Krishna service. So they need guidance. They are like kids. Okay, they need guidance. They should be under the guidance of some higher authority. So like that. So everything, all the varnas and all ashramas, everything. Sorry, not ashramas, varnas can be classified into the modes also. So if you take anything in this material world also, the type of people we associate with, or the type of literature that we read, or the type of places that we go, or the type of dressing we do, or type of food we eat, everything can be classified into the mode of into three modes. And whatever the mode we predominantly desire, or that the whatever the mode that we are in, that will rise to that kind of thoughts and that kind of desires also in us. Okay, it like passionate person will only get the passionate desires. Or the good a person in mode of goodness will get the desires in mode of goodness. Okay, and ignorant person will only go for intoxication or sleeping, like that. So these three modes are always existing, but we have to make, if you want to progress with respect to the modes, from in order to bring us from mode of ignorance to mode of passion to mode of goodness. From mode of goodness, we have to make effort to go into mode of pure goodness. So that way we can achieve the perfection of life. So if we ask what if we can name the people, means like we just have to identify, Prabhu. It's not like hard and fast rules like this person is mode of goodness passion, because it is said that there is no perfect person with in any mode. Okay, always there is a mixture of the modes. Okay, like if you see when a person is mode it is said that when a person is in mode of goodness, means in him the mode of goodness is like 80 or 90%, and mode of passion is like 10%, and mode of ignorance is 10%. So there is always a composition of these three modes in different proportions. That's how it will gives rise to different natures and different characteristics and different behaviors of different persons. So I hope it answered your question.
Yeah, Prabhu.
Okay, any more questions? So we'll end it here. ग्रंथरा श्रीमद् भागवत गीता की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, नंद कोट वैष्णव वृंद की जय.